Hi, Forward City Church. I hope you enjoyed today's service. Today's sermon was about helping our unbelief, and we as Christians, we always want to see God's presence and God's manifestation in our lives, but somehow it doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes it isn't because we do not have faith, but it is because there is unbelief in our lives. In Mark chapter 9, there was this boy who had an evil spirit, and the disciples tried to help him. When the dad brought the boy to the disciples tried to help him, but somehow they could not cast the evil spirit out. And they asked Jesus what was the reason they could not do it, because up to now they had been performing miracles, they had been healing the sick, they have been casting out demons and things like that. And up to now they had a track record of 100%, and suddenly when they came to this boy, they could not do it. So they asked Jesus what was going on, and Jesus said it was because of their unbelief. In fact, he said that if we have faith as small as a mustard seed, we will be able to move mountains. But somehow we do not see that happening. And as with the disciples, it is sometimes because we have unbelief in our lives. You see, faith and unbelief can exist at the same time. We can have faith in our hearts, but we have doubt in our mind. So it is not mutually exclusive. And how do we know if we have unbelief in our lives? We know we have unbelief when we are fearful, when we are worried, and when we have so much care that we are just so stressed out. These are indicators that you have unbelief in your life, and we have to deal with it before we can see God's manifestation in our lives. And how do we get rid of unbelief? We get rid of it by considering God's promises for us. God's promises are always yes and amen, and we need to be single-minded about what He has promised us. We cannot be spending time considering the problem. It is not that the problem doesn't exist, but we need to consider His promises more than we consider the problem. Sometimes we spend so much time considering the problem that we forget what God has promised us. And we need to consider His promises if we want to see God's manifestation in our lives. James chapter 1 verse 6 says that if you doubt, then you will not be able to receive from God. It is the same. We need to be able to be fully convinced that His promises are yes and amen for us before we receive from Him. Today as we learn about how we can identify if we have unbelief in our lives, we need to be like the father of the child and come to God, telling God to help our unbelief. Because if you really want to see God work in your life, then we have to come to a place where we are fully convinced of His promises in our lives.